Yep, that's right. The more you remain in your pain, the pain is going to remain in you. Yo, if you're suffering from active addiction, just know that your addiction is a friction, and you need to listen. You know? The more you search for a solution, the solution will be nearer towards you. Right? So, yo, the more you abuse yourself with the drugs, the alcohol, the coke, the crack, the meth, the opiates, right? Which I tell you, right? I worked in the recovery field. And now they don't do it anymore in certain states. But every time they tested for heroin, guess what? They didn't test positive for heroin. They test positive for fentanyl and benzodiazepines, right? Which are kind of worse than heroin, actually. It's a synthetic form, right, of an opiate, which takes longer to get off of. And these conditions are called post-acute withdrawal symptoms. They're called PAWS, right? So the more you injure yourself, the more your life is going to be injured, right? Start the revolution. It all lies in yourself, right? The pain is going to remain as long as the pleasure is acquired. How does that make sense? Yo, O.G.Audodot, how does that make sense, OG? Right? The more you give into the impulse to use to feel some type of pleasure, the more the pain is going to remain. Right? Seek another pleasure after you get help. It's important for you to get help first. Get some help. Whatever it be, methadone, a 28-day program, or go away in another state for a year. There are resources out there, right, where you don't have to pay. And some rehabs have something which they call a scholarship program, where you don't have to pay, and they want to see you get some type of help. Why? Because your addiction is a friction. It causes pain, loss, and suffering, jails, institutions, and death. And then what's next? Huh? Embarrassment, disappointment. And sometimes the death isn't always a physical death. It's death of your higher self, death of your spirituality, death of your physical health, death of your relationships, death of the outlook on life that you had when you was a young whippersnapper. Man, woman, trans, whatever you are, right? You're sick and suffering, man, right? And those in you in recovery, you need to give back, because in order for you to keep it, you got to give it away. You got to give it away in order for you to keep it, because it puts you in a mode of being reminded of the pain, loss, and suffering. You got to remind yourself of the pain. You got to remind yourself of the loss, of the suffering, right? But as long as you remain in the past, your life in the future is not going to last. It's good to reflect, right? Take a look in the mirror, but move forward. But back to this, man. Addiction is a friction. You know what friction is? Friction is when you have two or more pieces of matter going against each other in the opposite direction, causing the wearing away of what is. And this is what happens, man. When you first get high, you're just like, oh man, this is the shit. It affects you however you want to be affected. You want to be hyper, right? You want to relax and be pain-free, right? You sip some alcohol to get a little courage to approach that woman, or the woman that sips a little alcohol to be a little bit more outgoing, right? Gives you that little dizzy feeling, right? Especially if you drink it on an empty stomach. I've been there. 15 all the way to my early 40s. Been in recovery for years. I've been there. I know. Listen, man. I done destroyed my freaking life and every freaking aspect of my growth periods, yo. You know what I'm saying? Till one day, I was like, yo, you know what? This is it. Because I sought to hide it from people. I hid it from people because certain people didn't want to deal with me if they knew I was getting high, so I hid it. And I hid it by, clothing, speaking well, trying to look good. But you know what? Guess what? No more new clothes. Start to stutter when I speak. Start to look horrible. And the people are like, yo, what's up with you? You all right? What's going on with you, yo? And it's not really like, are you all right? It's just like, yo, I'm noticing something. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. When, yo, you all right? That's what that means. When they're like, yo, you all right? They're silently saying, yo, I'm starting to notice that you ain't opening up like a lotus. You ain't that beautiful flower no more. Right? Now you that piece of dirt that people step over and throw away. You that piece of dirt that a dog chooses to shit on. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. Right? I'm saying this to say that, you know what? A seed has to be planted for your growth. Pain, loss, and suffering, jails, institutions, and death. Start the revolution in yourself. You got it, man. Find some resources. Find a recovery coach. I'm a recovery coach. Just find some type of resources that separate you from those people, places, and things that are destroying you. That substance that is destroying you. Until you find yourself 20 years later, 30 years later, you look up, you're like, oh man, what did I do? Don't wait until it's too late. All right? Yo, you got this, man. You got this, woman. You got it.